deepest regret?
The day I had to divorce my wife.
Why is it a deep regret?
That's when my life went into a spiral. I was living life of, just like a drifter, and I'm just so tired of this drifting life. I just want to get my stuff together and just do the right thing, man.
Did you try to patch things up with her?
I've tried, but it was like a real nasty divorce. Today and day, at least I'm able to at least speak to her. At least we speak here and there. So
If you had one message to her right now, what would it be?
I'm so very sorry for everything that I put you through. It's going to be a better day tomorrow. You just wait and see.
Do you have any advice for people who may be going through what you went through?
When you love something, hold on to it. You don't know what you have until you lost it. They don't come better than that sometimes.
I was married for 27 years, and I don't think people understand what that does to you after. You don't just lose the person. You lose the version of the person that existed inside of that. And no one prepares you for what shows up after that.
With a divorce, you controlled your life forever. You can't control that.
No, I couldn't.
It's two people that involved in the divorce, bro.
Yeah, but no, I never talked about this, and I'm glad you guys are asking because I don't mind talking about that. But I was bad. She was awesome. She really was. It was all me. I was just, look, we don't need to talk about what I was doing, but I wasn't protecting her and protecting those vows. So, sometimes when you live that double life, you get caught up in. So I'm not going to say it was her. It was all me because she did exactly what she's supposed to do. Gave me beautiful kids, take care of the house, take care of corporate stuff. It was just all me. Sometimes when you make a lot of mistakes like that, you can't really come back from that. But as I get older and dwell on situations, I can honestly say it was all me. I had the perfect situation. Wife was finer than a mug.
Mm-hmm.
Kept giving me babies, still finer than a mug. I had it all. Just sometimes and I don't make excuses. I know I messed up.
What's the most pain you felt that wasn't physical?
When I got divorced, I was crushed. It's mental because when you're with someone for nearly 20 years, you have children together. I'm not a big fan of getting divorced and then never speaking to each other ever again. To me, that's wrong.
I interviewed 10 men who were married at one point, and I asked them all what their biggest regret was or the biggest realization they had after they lost their wife. And these are all a few things that they all had in common. One of the gentlemen who was 43 years old told me that he wishes he would have spent more time with her as opposed to being so focused on his job, his work, and his career. He was so caught up in his own world that he forgot to involve himself in her world. He told me that he thought that she would always be there no matter what because of the things that he was providing for her. He said that he had to find out the hard way that he was wrong. He believed that she would never leave his side, and he took it for granted. Something else that these men told me was that they were afraid of being vulnerable. They thought that being strong was hiding behind their fears and building those walls. They realized that those walls were just getting in the way of the intimacy between them and their significant other. One of the men even told me that he regretted not being honest about how scared he was of certain things and not expressing himself entirely. And that made me realize how we confuse silence with strength. Something else that I found common among these men was a lot of them told me about their lack of appreciation. They told me that they wish they would have told their wives how much they meant to them every day, how much they love them, and how much they matter to them on a daily basis. Pride was another common regret for most of these men as well. An argument that could have been avoided or maybe dealt with, a disagreement that could have been solved, or an apology that could have healed the dynamic between them and their significant other. Unfortunately, it didn't happen because they let their ego and their pride get in the way.
Hey guys, the dynamics of a divorce or a separation, they are so intense, and we don't speak mostly about the pain that affects men, and let me just try to break it down. After divorce, you have to leave the house. A man is expected to leave the house. You're leaving your ex there and your kids there. In some way, they are still partially a family unit. Your wife still has the kids still have their mom and the siblings. So partially they are still there. And the dad has to keep on supporting them. And as a man, you are expected to live with nothing. I remember in my case, I left ka sports bag, left a fully furnished house, Katamaka sports bag, to go start up a life. So it's difficult for a man, and you get there and you are alone. It's difficult for a man, and now you can't communicate with your kids because you and this person are not on good terms. When you call after separation, you are being told how useless you are. You are being told, or maybe she's found a new guy, or she's found a real man, and when now you are not a real man, stuff like that. So the dynamics of separations and divorce, I think we don't speak much about the pain that affects guys. It's intense. Guys go through the most alone. And I'm not saying the wife and the kids are not going through the most. They do. But they still have their partial family unit. They have each other. They still have the house. They still have the furniture. They still have everything. A man loses everything. Mona loses everything. You lose everything. If you had bought food for the whole month, you lose that food. Meaning, or you have to go and sleep somewhere.
What's your deepest regret?
The day I had to divorce my wife.
Why is it a deep regret?
That's when my life went into a spiral.
Loses everything. You lose everything.
Publicize it. You see, the thing is, you can either publicize your weak moments, or you can amplify what you are good at. Okay. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it broke me. Mm-hmm. I became so thin when I was going through. Because, like you are saying, you are imagining yourself building a family. When you got married, you didn't think you'd get divorced. Sure. You had a long-term plan. Mm-hmm. Of where you want to take your family, and it all comes crumbling down.
The loneliest I've ever felt in my life was when I would lay next to my wife. It wasn't even when she wouldn't be in the house and it's empty and I couldn't hear anything but your own breathing, your own footsteps. It wasn't when I went to the courthouse with the papers and then sat in my car for a couple hours afterward. And it wasn't the months of me sitting in this driveway, mustering the courage to go into the empty house. No, it's literally when I'm not even a foot away from this woman that I still had such love and fondness and respect for, despite everything that she did to me. Just knowing, with her back turned to me, that she is gone, and she had been gone. She had been gone long before I even came to that realization. That is a tough lesson and realization to comprehend and realize. Yeah, I felt devastatingly alone when I realized that. You know, it wasn't even when I was begging and pleading for her to want to fix things. It was literally when I was in such close proximity. But she was miles. She was so far gone, guys. Life has an interesting way of teaching you these lessons, doesn't it?
Hey, I'm a 50-year-old man whose second marriage has just failed. I'm on the verge of having to just reinvent everything, and I'm getting comfort from death. But not like in the way you're thinking. In the concept of death, it's kind of given me hope, because at the end of the day, everyone dies. Whether you're happy, sad, in a big family or single, everyone dies. It's the great equalizer. So I've got a choice with how I live my life every day. And I'm really holding on to this now because my natural instinct is to go to bed and not be able to move and be depressed. But I'm going to die. We're all going to die. And why not try to live each day like it's my last right now? Because one day it's going to be. And I don't want to waste my life being sad or depressed. Do you know what I mean? Do you get that?
I was jealous of my friend's fun young wife, so I got divorced. Now I regret it. Let's look at this post. So this is one of those write-ins where he's asking for advice. He says, things haven't been great with my wife for years. The sex has dwindled and she stopped looking after herself. Last year, a friend got married to a much younger woman. At his stag do, that's like a bachelor party, at his stag do, he bragged about how great it was, how much energy she has, and it really planted a seed of dissatisfaction. I started taking my wife for granted, being quite cold, and I know I haven't made her feel very loved. This part right here. I asked her for a divorce, and to my surprise, she agreed straight away. She's like, I bet, let's go. This part just makes my heart just swell. It says, we've been separated now for the last couple of months, and I feel like I've made a massive mistake. That just makes me feel just so happy. He says, the dating apps at my age are honestly soul sucking, and I haven't had too much interest from other women. That just makes me smile so big. He says, my wife did so much around the house that went unnoticed. She cooked and cleaned for us, is a brilliant mom, and she has such a kind heart. The kids also hate me now. I've really messed up. Is it too late to repair this relationship? So he discarded his wife appliance, and now he's seeing that his wife appliance did a lot. Oh, yeah, I think it is too late to repair this. And I am so happy that you got rid of this woman, this wife appliance, so now she can go off and live her best life, because she was probably being drained. She's probably being drained because she's doing all of the cooking and cleaning, and he didn't even notice. He just probably thought that there was some kind of chef fairy that was making all the food, and a laundry fairy making sure that his clothes were cleaned. I am glad that she is away from this person.